up, man? I'm playing one-handed. How are you? Yeah, I do. I'm glad you popped in, brother. Awesome, man. What kind of lyrical inspiration you using? Like real life type stuff, or like any particular themes going on? Cool stuff. There's no lyrics like real life stuff. I'm really missing my being able to mute to cut out unwanted noise. Hank, what's up, man? I'm the arm's actually doing a lot better than it was before. I got a steel plate put in it Friday. And truth be told, I'd be able to, you can see my fingers are moving and stuff. I just can't get close enough with this stupid wrap to pick. So I'm still doing the one arm thing. Yeah. I got a fret wrap I made because I'm a cheapskate. Good to see you, man. Cup Noodle got me. I thought I could step up for the Cup Noodle Championship. Nope. What you been up to, buddy? Alright, that's enough of that. You hear the backing track I made. I had to use piano because I couldn't play any rhythm or real bass line. Cut this off. There we go. Alright. A lot of dirt. But yeah, I'm way better with a metal plate than I was with a broken in half bone. And playing with one hand, you know, it kind of makes you approach a little bit differently. So I feel like I'm getting something out of it. Of course, it's not preferred, but it is not totally without its merits. There are several people that said, thank God he's not going to use the whammy bar. God broke his arm for excessive whammy use. I broke my radius forearm bone. It hurts a little bit. I had surgery on it Friday, but not like I'm some kind of tough guy or something. But it didn't hurt nearly as bad as I thought it would. I've had worse. Yeah, I'm good, man. When you're a dummy like me and you've put a bunch of miles on your body over the years, it's just part of it. It's not something I would recommend, but trying to make the best of it, man. I'm not missing a beat playing guitar, using it as an opportunity to kind of approach some different stuff. Like, got to play some piano on that backing track, which I probably normally wouldn't have done, or it would have been, you know, not the main part of the song. So it's all good. Oh, it's all good, buddy. I'm actually really good, man. Good spirits. You know, as far as when you were talking about lyrics having something to do with your life, it kind of struck a note with me, because I made a video with my brother earlier. I'm going to put it out later on. And we were talking about how some songs are particularly special to you because of when you heard them and where you were in your life, you know? And also, we did basically a list of some of our favorite songs. And how several of them, the musicians, were singing specifically about their life. For better or for worse. You know? Some of them are no longer with us, and but they gave us that gift of music. So anyway, kind of piqued my curiosity when you said that because of that conversation we just had. But overall, man, I'm great. Necromantic. Is that? Yeah, I think I've heard of that. That's a horror movie, right? Kind of one of those. Yeah, I'm almost sure I've heard of it. It's one of those kind of on the extreme side of the subject matter. If I'm thinking of the right one. Yep. I'm a big horror movie fan, actually. I like all the old late 70s, 80s, some early 90s Italian stuff. I'm a big fan of Giallos and Fulci and Dario Argento. But, you know, being a guy that likes horror movies, you're going to have seen some of that, you know, like, or at least heard of, like, Necromantic, that movie. I read about it. I was like, yeah, that's a little too grim for me. But when I was young, a young guy like you, I would steer more into stuff like that out of curiosity and you know, partly because of I'd want to, in a way, prove to myself that, you know, I could be flippant about it, or I don't know what. But as I've gotten older and you know, dealt with enough stuff in real life, I don't seek stuff out like that anymore in my kind of escape media consumption. But, you know, oh yeah, that's a classic, man. I rewatched the OG Texas Chainsaw Massacre this year during October. I always during October, like, I'll really, because, you know, Halloween, I'll really start hitting horror movies hard, and I'll kind of stay in that until you know, it till the first of the year, and then I'll kind of eventually work my way out of it. But, you know, some of the good old-fashioned gore fest and stuff like that that kind of stuff doesn't bother me, but when the subject matter is really so grim that it makes you just kind of a downer. I don't really look to go there on purpose anymore. But I did when I was a young fella like you, for sure. I've been watching a lot of bad horror movies while I was kind of a couple days after surgery. Dude, Silo is not something I would ever want to watch. I know enough about it to know I don't want to watch it. The original Psycho, and I think, is it Psycho 3? Of course, it's not as good as the Alfred Hitchcock Psycho, but there's one of the sequels that's actually pretty good. And yeah, The Hills Have Eyes. There's the new one and the remake, and plenty of sequels. Yeah, I watch all that stuff. I never got into Walking Dead. I can't really do shows. It's like my attention span. I blame it on the internet. It's like my attention span can't keep up with a show anymore. It's like I can't be bothered to watch a bunch of episodes. My brother, sometimes he's like, dude, you would love this show. I can't believe you hadn't watched it. And I was like, I'm sure I would. I just can't get the attention span to watch multiple episodes. If you like Walking Dead, of course, that's a zombie thing. Have you seen any of the old, Return of the Living Dead's great. The original Night of the Living Dead. It's old. That may not be the one I would start a guy your age with. But the Fulci's 3 movies that are awesome. Several of his movies are awesome. Lucio Fulci is the director's name, but they're called, I think, the Gates of Hell trilogy. There's City of the Dead, House by the Cemetery. Shoot, what's the third one? I can think of the soundtrack, but anyway, look those up. You might like them, you might not. It's a very specific style to them. It's an Italian horror style of that era. The Italian giallos, they're kind of before you had slasher movies like Friday the 13th and that kind of thing, Halloween. They're very similar in that they're slasher type style, where you have a character going around, doing the K word. I don't want the algorithm to get me. But there's usually an element of mystery, a big twist, and a kind of an investigation, police procedure part of some of them. But they're called giallos, and that's Italian for yellow. And it's because the style of story they were originally from these pulp, kind of considered to be bargain men, trash fiction magazines, and they were yellow. There's also a really cool use of color schemes associated with directors that did that genre. And then you have some that are like Arthropophagus and Absurd and stuff like that are a little Joe, hey, what's up, man? We had Rody. Hey, what's up, buddy? Joe, you kept me entertained this week. I have tried tapping. If I could really do what I wanted to do, tapping wise, I don't know if y'all have seen a guitar player named Tori Slusher. She's got a YouTube channel. She's one of my favorite modern guitar players. But she plays chords, like she'll hammer them on. Like that's an A7. And then she can tap legato with this hand as good as way better than I can with my fretting hand. So I have thought about that. Rody, what you doing, big dog? Did y'all play any this weekend? Joe, I appreciate you popping in the stream, man. Yeah, I can do them with one finger. I can't. It's hard for me to stretch with this stupid thing on. Man, it's actually going really good, considering. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I could do my old shred days tapping. If you're watching the playoffs, my son in there, he's an Eagles fan. Can you imagine somebody that's from one of the most redneck states in the world being an Eagles fan? Yeah. And it's not the injury that's keeping my dexterity. It's this stupid thing wrapped around my whole arm. Well, I say stupid. It needs to be there so I can heal up properly. Yeah, he said that a little earlier the Eagles missed an extra point. I hope that doesn't come back to bite them. What's your you got an NFL team that's your team? That'd be a good one. I've got some good friends from Kansas, a couple that me and my wife are close friends with, and they've sadly moved to Ohio, but we still keep up with them, and we usually meet them once a year. They're Chiefs nuts, so they'd be right up your alley, buddy. They went to Wichita State, so they're big Shocker fans and Chiefs fans. They get season tickets, and the last two Super Bowls the Chiefs played in, they went to, and when they told me how much they paid for tickets, I was like, no, that's not an option for me. Yeah, you're pretty close to KC. So the horror movies you go after, you're trying to kind of push the limits and get the most disturbing. I did that too when I was younger. The cool thing about that is you'll eventually find the ones that the art aspect of them resonates with you. And even if it's corny, yeah, tickets are out of my league too, man. I'm not spending thousands of dollars to go see anything. Hey, you're an Elvis man like me. I hadn't forgot that. So yeah, any subtlety I can do with my picking hand is just like, it ain't there because of the rap. See, I grew up in SEC college country where like people live and die by college football. And it wasn't until I was an adult that, I'd watch the NFL as a kid. Definitely watched the Super Bowl, and I broke the radius bone. So you got two bones in your forearm, and I broke the radius in two. I don't know if you can watch any movie you want, but I know you're in, God, what country is it? Do you have access to the app? It's called Tubi. I'll type it in with my broken arm. Can't even type. If you can get that app, you sure little man. Those were funny. Both, or I don't know how many scary movies they wound up making, but if you want to, well, it's not really, Bosnia, that's right. If you can get Tubi, the app, it's free. You know, they run some ads on the movies, but it's got a really good variety of horror movies. and it's free. Well, Rody, I'm not in a. This isn't like a hard cast, believe it or not. I think when they screw a plate in there, it's like already stronger than it was before I broke it. So now it's just they gotta look at it after a week or so and make sure everything's still lined up. I'm wanting to say Smile was on Tubi. Yeah, it was on Tubi. Not sure if it is now or not. But a lot of those, you'll find stuff that you hadn't even heard of that you'll like. But I go for a follow-up, and I don't know if they're going to take this off and give me something a little more mobile. I'm hoping, but we'll see. But I think at this point it's just making sure it's aligned properly, and then where they cut you open, making sure that's a where it's supposed to be. But I think the structure itself, you're screwing a metal plate in there, so that part's good. So I'm hoping it's not 6 weeks in a cast. I'm hoping it's 6 weeks and then you can start, working your way into exercise and that kind of stuff. But I really don't know for sure. I usually, you have a list, huh? I didn't ever see Smile. I heard a lot about it because, I listen to horror podcasts and stuff, and it didn't really seem like my style. I heard it was pretty good, though. Oh, thanks, Joe. Yeah, I've been trying to turn all my tone pots up to 11, and it's not working yet. You had me laughing all week, man. You helped my healing process, and thank you for the prayers. Oh, I appreciate it. I usually recover quick. I don't recover stupidly, but I go by the philosophy that stuff gets better stuff heals by getting stimulated and being used, So my last surgery may have been 4 or 5 years ago now. I tore my pec on this side, and that was nasty. Philosophy of a knife. I don't think I've heard of that one. I'll have to look that up. That must be another super disturbing, you wished you hadn't watched it movie. But I tore my pec, and my whole side of my, from here, not on this side, but down, all the way down to my arm, was black and blue. And I had to get it reattached. And they told me I won't be able to exercise or anything for at least 6 months. In 3 months, I was back to doing whatever I wanted. And that's because I did my own research, And it's banned, huh? Is that the one I may be thinking of a totally different movie. Is that the one where there's like a serial killer that gets out of prison, and the same day he gets out of prison, he starts going back to his terrible, murderous ways? I may be thinking of a different one I've heard of. But you know, a doctor, they're worried about, hey, we don't want this guy to have a bad recovery, so they're not pushing the limits. You know, they're going to give me the same recovery plan as a couch potato. And, you know, I'm not, okay, I'm thinking of a different one. So I researched, what can I do that won't mess this repair up? And then a lot of it, you know, is usually range of motion, moving it, and I start doing that stuff right away. I've learned that the hard way. The first surgery I ever had in my 20s, I was immobilized and did everything the doctor said, and it took forever to recover. I don't got time to be sitting around waiting for something to get better slower. So I try to push it, but not be stupid. Which, you know, I probably end up falling on the side of stupid most of the time. I do know about guinea pig. That's a Japanese one. I think that may have been on Tubi at one point. But what's the name of it? So if you want to see a movie I saw that I really liked that was in that style, it wasn't quite as gruesome. It was so there's the American movie Evil Dead, right? And the sequels. It's not those. There's a Japanese movie called Evil Dead Trap, and it is awesome. And it was on Tubi the last time I checked. Yeah, Rhodey, you could be right. You know, that keeps you coming in there. And, you know, I'm not trying to say doctors are trying to milk insurance companies, but, you know, some are better than others. Luckily, I really like this doctor. Like, he actually sat me down and knows what, you know, lifestyle I have, and that knows what I want to get back to, you know, which that's a lot better than a guy that gives you the same plan he gives the dude that's not moving around, you know. You want me to do a one arm more than words, eh? With a fret wrap on. I hadn't played it in a while. Leave it to a Scotsman. What's up, Steve? I could try to. It wouldn't be well, because the subtlety of my picking is gone. So, you know what's crazy? I was just talking about that. My fingers, my mobility is actually great. It's this stupid thing that is really hold me back more than anything. But it's making me approach practice different for a little while, which is a good thing. Playing chords, not the best right now. The old hammer-on chords, not my skill set. You should have named like some classical song. See. My dad played classical growing up, and I learned a little bit, but of course I didn't ever want to read music. Steve, can you read music? Because I know you teach a lot. So yeah, if I tried to play a rock song, it would be very touch and go. Yeah. I'm so big on touch and feel with the fingers that yeah, that's one I've intentionally avoided just because I heard enough about it, and yeah, I don't need that in my thoughts. You know what I mean? I like horror movies to be fun. You know. Oh man, I didn't know you did the classical stuff. That's cool. Hey, if you need to be able to teach all different kinds of stuff, I guess you got to. Like, I know I can look at something and go, okay, FACE, every good boy does fine. What's this note? Like, and it'll take me 10 minutes to read one chord because I took piano lessons for like 6 months when I was, I don't know, like 5th or 6th grade. So I can't. My dad can read pretty good. I don't even like reading tab. Cannibal Holocaust is a good one. That's a classic. And if you watch it, think about it's one of the very first found footage films ever. The way it's, you know, like they say Blair Witch is the first found footage film, but really they were doing that stuff way back in the 70s. But yeah, so like Cannibal Holocaust is an Italian horror film. And it's not nearly as disturbing as people make it out to be. Jack of all trades, master of none. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Makes you having a wide skill set, have a lot more options as far as being a musician for a living. I bet that was tough learning to read in your 30s. Seems like young brains are more malleable with stuff like that. Yeah, the French, they kind of had that what was it called? There's an Air French extreme horror that kind of made a genre in and of itself. And yeah, some of those are good. Some of them are too much for me. But some of them are cool. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've watched a lot of Korean horror. I hadn't watched Martyrs yet. I've been waiting for the right time. I need to be in a mood to watch it. But I do intend on watching that one. Heard it was really good. But disturbing for sure. If y'all don't know, both Rhodey and Steve both have channels that are really cool. Rhodey's got the most awesome guitar room you'll ever see, and he's got a band, and they'll stream their whole set. It's really cool. And Steve's channel is one of my favorite on YouTube. He does really all things guitar YouTube, but really one of my favorite things he does is he looks at all the guitars that are affordable and really gives you the lowdown on those. He does other cool stuff too, but that was how I first started watching Steve, is those videos. Oh man. Hey y'all got the cool content going on. We'll make sure everybody else knows about it. The Wailing was on Tubi and I didn't watch it. I tend to steer away from anything that's like somebody, you're mourning the loss of a kid or something like that. I don't need that. But I did hear about it and heard it was really good. Good deal. Good stuff. Steve, when you watch Rhodey, you'll be like, I always tell him I want to be him when I grow up, because he's retired and he's just jamming, him and his buddies. You're too kind, sir. We all need a good guitar vacation. With the Rockman pedal, the old Tom Schultz Boston. I don't know if y'all remember the little headphone amps you used to be able to get. Yeah, I've watched Steve Tettenberry. That he's an awesome player. It's like you watch it and like, man, this guy's so goofy, making funny faces and stuff, and then he just shreds your face off. Yeah, Rhodey, you'll like Steve's channel. He streams every week. And he's got a good community too. Really cool folks. Both of y'all do, actually. Honey Tap, what's up, man? We're just shooting the breeze about horror movies, guitar gear, one-arm guitar playing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I love your original music, Honey Tap, aka Jedi Jingle Maker. Like, I checked it out. I watched one of your streams, and you were doing all of your oh, thanks, man. You were playing along with your own stuff, which was really cool. But it's not just cookie cutter guitar music. It's really cool music. I'm glad to have you, man. And you're obviously awesome player too. Max Left, what's up, man? So he played a gig with his arm messed up. Three Days Grace and My Chemical Romance, I'm familiar just from hearing them a little bit, but they're not like something on my playlist or anything like that. I'm like My Chemical Romance is a little too emo for me, and you know, 3 Days Grace is fine. It just never really resonated with me a whole lot. Oh, the honor is all mine, man. It's funny, you know, I've always recorded my own stuff over the years, and you put it out like on SoundCloud or whatever, and you know, it kind of just sits there, and it's cool to hear when somebody does hear it and appreciate it, and your stuff is really cool. Novel, cool songwriting, and shred. I mean, can't go wrong with that combination. I'm the same way. If one person gets something out of anything I do, I'm a happy man. Yeah, these are lace hot golds, and I really like them. What's that quote from, Krakow? Is that a My Chemical Romance song? I think I have kids closer to your age, and I think my youngest likes My Chemical Romance. Honey Tap, you got some recording skills too, man. I, of course, recording instruments has become easier with IRs and stuff like that. You don't have to mic a cab and get it sounding just right. Okay, that's a 3 Days Grace song. I'll check that one out. I'm in a music exploration mood tonight, so. But yeah, I can tell you've got my favorite rock band. It growing up, it was Alice in Chains, and they're still one of my favorites. But now, my favorite rock band now is Tool, and I've always listened to them, but they've just progressed and into their catalog is such a good example of a band that evolves and evolves into something awesome, that I love their old stuff and I love their new stuff. Hey, you can't go wrong with Nirvana. There's probably a lot of guys in here that was one of the first songs they learned. That's about as good as I can play that now. Oh, you like Tool too? Awesome, man. And, everything about them, like that last album they did is, to me, like when I listen to reference tracks, if I record something rocky that I want to be kind of a heavy rock thing, that's what I listen to is Fear Inoculum, because it's like every instrument sounds so huge. Yeah, I'm not playing any better right now than I did when I was 14. Oh yeah, and of course Maynard Keenan. I mean, he's one of the best singers, rock singers of all time, in my opinion. Range, and he's just so unique in the way his cadence is and his melody. Oh man, yeah, and the lyrics. If you want to sit down and figure out some where what's trying to be stated, especially in the early Tool, you didn't have to guess what was being stated. You might have to guess where it came from, but it was, now you have to, with the later stuff, it's more introspective, but still has its moments where it punches you in the mouth. I wish I had a singing range like Maynard, man. That is no surprise that your drummer is the impetus of Tool, which, by the way, I've heard y'all do sober, and it was freaking awesome. But yeah, once you get bit by that bug, you want to hear Maynard and all the other stuff he does. A Perfect Circle I listen to because of him, and it's more, you got some really great ones, but it's not as masterful as a Tool album. But my brother listens to Puscifer. I've never really, I just hadn't really sat down and explored, and that, for other people to know what we're talking about, that's Maynard, the Tool singer's solo stuff. My brother really likes him, Puscifer, and has all those albums. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, Clint Eastwood was definitely a childhood hero. Krakow, Tool is, they started off, they're kind of thrown in with grunge bands because of when they came out. They're definitely a little heavier than your average grunge band. And their early stuff is it's more your basic song structure, chorus, verse, but with a really unique, heavy sound. And then their later stuff, they totally transcended any type of normal song structure. And some would say it's progressive. And I guess it is, but it's more like a heavy piece of music, like you would think of, like a symphony or something as a piece of music. And it is, instead of verse, chorus, it's heavy, but it has that format. And they always have these crescendos where the song peaks. And it may be a 12-minute song that has this peak in minute 7. And then, it lets you ride it out. And that's kind of their later stuff. But I would say, if you want to check them out, check out Undertow or Stinkfist, and that's that'll get you started with Tool. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's Hang 'em High. I'm wanting to say that may be a shot from one of the Good, Bad, and Ugly series. But, or it could be Josie Wales, because I'm looking, he's got those kind of Civil War era older revolvers, so I love all of them, man. I wanted to be Clint Eastwood when I grew up. When I was a kid. Steve's like, I got time to be listening to 7 minutes of yeah, Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more, and Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Which, incidentally, circling back to what we were talking about with horror, those are spaghetti westerns made by Italian film directors on a budget. Got, which one's the one with Lee Van Cleef in it? I can't remember which one of those three. Well, as far as a moral thing, that's I wouldn't pass a moral judgment on it. My concern, as a guy with a dad of teenagers, is that's something that can hurt you and kill you and ruin your life. And instead of passing a moral judgment on that, that's what I would want to make sure my kids know is, hey man, that there's a few substances that will turn good people into wild animals, that will do things that they would never do, like things that they'd be ashamed of for the rest of their lives. And that's what doesn't smell that great. You heard it from a friend though, right? But yeah, Krakow, that's would be my statement with that. Yeah, straight edge guys are some of the most hardcore guys they are. They don't need anything to they just turn up life. My youngest brother's into hardcore and straight edge, and now you're singing the Ramones. I love the Ramones. What a lot of people miss about the Ramones is, especially when they started, they could barely play their instruments, but their songs are so good. Like, all right, well, hey, thanks for stopping in, Steve, man. You have a good week. I'll be back 100% before you know it. Well stated, Honey Tap. Yeah, Rhodey's got a lot of wisdom, man. He's been on this earth a little bit longer than us, and I don't expect a teenage boy to not be curious about stuff in life, but what, as a parent, you don't want is your curious teenager to do something as a kid that has permanent consequences, So, that's what I would be thinking about. Now you're throwing out Motorhead. Or what is the line in 30 Days in the Hole? Newcastle Brown, it could sure bring you down. A dirty spoon, something hotel room. Yeah. But like Rhodey and Honey Tapper said, man, uh, just life is crazy without it, right? I've seen that one, 28 Days. It's good. It's not like it's gonna make my top 10 a horror movie, but very entertaining. Yeah, you'll enjoy that. Or you may have already seen it, and you're just trying to get the kids to watch it. And the original kind of Night of the Living Dead, it was black and white, so it's really the original. But George Romero's Zombie is when zombie movies were at their best to me. Yeah, 28 Days it's only a few years old. And it's got kind of a cool premise too. That is very, very wise. Moderation is, and that doesn't go for just vices. That goes for anything in life. Anything, if you indulge too much in it, can become destructive. Like, if there's nothing wrong with playing guitar, but if I was so obsessed with guitar I didn't go to work, that's destructive. Or if instead of feeding my family I buy too much gear, yeah, anything in excess can be So you've seen Night of the Living Dead, Krakow? Check out George Romero's Zombie. It's tricky because the Italian movies, it's weird. They came out and they would claim they'd be released as sequels to movies they weren't really sequels to. So a lot of the times it's listed as Zombie 2, but it's the first George Romero zombie movie. If you like zombie movies, that's one that is kind of an OG of the genre. And then my favorite is Return of the Living Dead. And it's just got this really cool kind of very 80s punk rock thing going on. That's the aesthetic of it is really cool, and it's got everything you want in a horror movie, let's just say that. So are there two of them? A 28 months and 28 years, like a sequel or something? I might be behind on that one. Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to, so the second one is 28 years. I'm going to have to see if that's on Tubi or Prime. I might have to. Because I enjoyed the first one. Oh my gosh, I picked a chord. That is so sad. So, okay, the second one is 28 months. Gotcha. I'm mixed up. You're talking about, and the one coming's 28 years. You're talking about trying to get your kids to watch it. My kids are like, if Dad likes it, it's lame. Yeah, Zombieland is awesome. It's nothing but fun. That's more my speed. Like, you know, now at my age, I don't want to watch a movie and it get me in a downer. You know, I want to watch it entertainment. I don't mind, you know, the gore and stuff like that, but they need motivation. You got to make sure you got to force them to get a little coolness in their life. I'll buy a shirt, like, you know, t-shirts. Like, I'm also a big kung fu movie fan, and I'll buy shirts that have all these old school kung fu movies, and my son will make fun of me when I order some shirts, and then he'll steal them from me and wear them. I'm like, I thought that was lame dad stuff. So your parents don't like them. Yeah, Bruce Lee. I would say it kind of started it for me, but what started it was the local Fox channel on Saturdays used to have what they call black belt theater, and they would show all these crazy dubbed kung fu movies, and they're so weird sometimes. You don't like Bruce Lee? But yeah, when I got old enough to realize, you know, where these movies came from and explore them, of course, the first Bruce Lee movie I saw was the one, I think the original name was The Way of the Dragon, and they also released it as Return of the Dragon. It's the one where he fights Chuck Norris in the Coliseum. And after that, of course, I saw all of them. Why don't you like Bruce Lee, Krakow? It was a mistype. It was a typo. I hadn't seen Wrong Turn 2. I'm trying to think if I saw Wrong Turn 1. Oh, okay. Well, if that's not your thing, yeah. You wouldn't like any of that stuff. Hey, Teddy, so the one on the door is Clint Eastwood, and the one over that way is Elvis Presley. Yeah, fighting movies aren't your thing. Yeah, I could see not caring for Bruce Lee. I appreciate it, man. Always a lot of my musical beginnings were listening to Elvis as a tiny kid. I can't get that out of my DNA. If I were a fraction of a percent as cool as Elvis, we could all go to an island right now. He thought Clint was Hendrix. Yeah, I'm kind of covering it up, I see, so it's hard to tell. Yeah, I'm not opposed to having Hendrix up in here. That's for sure. Definitely. I think he's influenced everybody that's picked up a guitar. Little Bruce Lee philosophy. What about when you put water into the cup? It becomes the cup. That's the kicker about Bruce Lee's movies. The first one, Big Boss Man, or I forget the original name of it. It's a little cornier. This is a oh Lord, I'm playing slide with my microphone. This guitar is it's not one of my more expensive guitars, but it is my favorite. It's a Fender Deluxe Powerhouse Strat. They were made in Mexico, and they were kind of like a made in Mexico version of the Clapton Strat. Oh, I appreciate it, man. But if there's ever an example of, you got cheap guitars, expensive guitars that, play way better than what you paid for them, this guitar is my favorite. It's a clear number one. And of course I've changed everything on it. I always say a Strat is the Legos of guitars. But it, really from a broad sense, even Suhrs and Tylers and all that, they're all parts casters. They're all a neck that's made out of some piece of wood, made it with a body that's made out of some piece of wood. And oh, cool, man. The Mexican Hendrix signature. Is that the one like the Monterey Pop that's got the all the designs on it, or is it another one? But it's particularly with bolt-on Strats, Tellies. It's such a combination of the sum of its parts, you know. And yeah, you can buy a $5,000-$6,000 Tyler, and there's a certain level of quality and the refinement that's going to come with that. But the perfect neck. So you got one of the other ones that's got like the upside down 70s headstock. Those are really cool too. But, it's the combination of the body and neck, and then everything else matters. To what extent it matters to you, is personal preference. Olympic White. That's awesome. That's a cool guitar. Yeah, I've got a couple. My other Mexican Strat, of course, the only thing left on it that's original is the body. I've got a custom neck on it, and long since changed out all the electronics and all that stuff. But it's fun to do that. And the cool thing about Mexican Strats is you don't feel like you're losing anything when you start modding everything, whereas an American, you're always kind of like, man, is this going to hurt the value of it? Which, I don't think of guitars as investments, but with a Mexi Strat, if you find a good one, it can be every bit as good as an American, in my opinion. And B, you can really change everything to your heart's content, Oh, Honey Tap, if you're still there, I've seen you play the Ibanez a lot. Kind of a RG-ish. Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. It's a tool, and as a guitar player, we have a special relationship with them, and you never know. Chances are it may not be the most expensive guitar you get that's going to be the one that resonates with you. And man, that's a powerful statement. Only worth the songs that come out of it. That's it. It's a conduit for you to try to speak your music through, and its value in that is that's why they're there. And of course, as guitar players, we can get really finicky and in the weeds with it, but in the end, that's what it's about. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna play a jam real quick. My dad told me that about a guitar when I was a kid, shaped like a woman, and of course Clapton woman tone, and there's also, let me see if I can find it. I'm not familiar with that tune, Rhodey. I might have to check that one out. All right, see if I can pull up this album cover real quick. I guess some people would call it creepy, but it's a perfect illustration, and it's done tongue in cheek. Oh, shit. It's so if any of y'all listen to prog, the Focus guitar player Jan Ackerman, he's after Focus, he did a bunch of he still puts out solo stuff, but one of his album covers illustrates that relationship perfectly. Let's see. Y'all about to see my technology skills. I'm a high-speed YouTube streamer. Bam! You see, that's what Jan Ackerman had to say about the matter. Is Clarence White, is he in that band Rhodey was talking about? Krakow, I didn't watch it. My youngest teenager watched it and told me about it. I was like, yeah, I don't need any of that. Well, if you want to hear a ridiculously awesome guitar player, in the 70s he was in a prog band called Focus, and he's done a lot of different solo stuff, some very fusiony, jazz fusiony, but always good guitar. Jan Ackerman. It's like a doc. Yeah, it's like a found footage type deal, isn't it? Well, my battery's getting low. I'm going to do one more jam, and then we'll take it to the house. Y'all are making me want to. Oh, so Clarence White invented the B-bender. That's some cool lore. I've never played a B-bender, but I've always wanted to try one. Yeah, I'm gonna do some one-hand jamming. Let's see what I can come up with. Your battery's about to run out too. Bent sharp right there, trying to hit the strings too hard. boys, I have to say that was not my best one-armed guitar playing. But it'll have to do. I do want to thank everybody for awesome stream. Man, we talked about everything from horror movies to life choices to Bruce Lee, Clint Eastwood, Elvis. We found out who the inventor of the B-bender was. I mean, man, y'all been awesome. I'll thank all y'all for stopping in. Y'all are the ones that made it. This is the end, my only friend. The end. Yeah, that wasn't my best, even one-handed. I was a little clammy there. Well, thanks again, everybody. We'll definitely we'll be back soon. Oh, by the way, y'all check out Honey Tap's channel too. Really cool stuff. I've already talked about Roadies and Steve's, and Honey Taps is awesome. It's a new one to me, but I've really enjoyed looking at his stuff. All right, Krakow buddy, you be good. Watch out. Don't watch any scary movies. They're going to give you nightmares. All right, boys. I'll be back soon, and this is not going to keep me from playing guitar, so you won't miss me. Y'all be easy, fellas. See you soon.